Welcome back, Raiders. That is right. Phase 1 of the roadmap for 2026 is now live with Headwinds, and with it comes a very, very large update patch, so we're going to have to dive in and cover just the best bits. To kick things off, we have a brand new game mode. That is right, solo versus trios queue. If you want to go in by yourself and take on a full team, that is now an option to you. If you want like those high intensity, everything is a risk, everything is a threat around you type of scenarios, this is the game mode for you. I don't know if it's something I'm going to be like super interested in myself, but I'll definitely try it out. But also, you'll be getting a 20% XP buff for doing this mode, regardless if you are able to be successful or not on your raids. So give it a go, friends. See how well you do. Next up, we have a new cosmetic set that's just dropped, and it's called the Sandwalker set. You know, it's a little Tusken Raider inspired, but I don't hate it. Maybe if I can edit out some of the little bits on it, maybe the head and whatnot, I like the set a little bit more. But hey, if you're into this look and you want something new that fits the vibe of the new, Headwinds update, try this one out. So aside from a cool aesthetic, what else does the Sandstorm update bring for us, also known as Headwinds? Well, instead of Buried City, we're going to be getting a permanent new update to Buried City that's on rotation called Bird City. That is right, you heard that correct. If you look for chimneys with birds on it, you'll be able to find better loot. That's right, the birds are going around, they're collecting loot, they're storing all the shiny bits, as like crows like to do, into an area for you to find. Now, this is going to be a high value loot area, so it will be hotly contested, and a lot of PvP will definitely happen here, and there'll definitely be some arc guards around, so be on the lookout. Then, still talking about birds, we have new rubber duckies to find. That is right. The rubber duckies now come in different rarities and different looks, so be on the lookout, go get your collections up. No longer is just the standard yellow ducky out there, friends, to see what you can find. And then there's a quick little shop update, and that is for the fact that you can now buy the guitar. That is right, for 70 different, tokens, you can go buy the guitar from the traders. So if you have not been able to get this from either the puzzle or some rewards out there, you can now buy it. And then, as previously mentioned, we are getting a new player project, or projects, I should say. That's right, so we're going to have a new use for all the different arc material from, Leaper Pulse Cells to Bastions and even greater. The more that you trade in for this project, the better your rewards. And as you can see over here, not only is it going to be giving out like legendary items, but the devs have also told us that we'll be getting blueprints as well. So very excited to see what we're getting. Here's a quick little peek at like some of the rewards over here, but looks pretty good. And then there's some interesting patch highlights. And to start off, we're now getting a fixed partying up system. That's right. You can now add people to your party when you're already in match, so they can come in and join, and they can just sit and watch your gameplay and be in the background. Or also, when you are already in a match and you have a buddy that wants to invite a buddy, there's now squad invites where they could pull their people in so you don't have to try to, disband the party and redo it all over again. That's a pretty nice little feature. And then we're getting some fixes to Salamanthus again, that's right. So we already had some previously, but we're going to be getting, a lighting change update. So for the night raids, it's going to be even darker than previously, as we talked about that before. And then in the Seed Vault, the camping extract at Exfil is no longer a thing. So thank God for that. Too many people were going up in that area that you couldn't really see. They'd shoot down at you and they'd gank you and they'd rat all of your, well-earned loot. And that was a pain in the ass, so we're very glad that that's gone. And then we have two brand new augments that are now live in the game. The first one is going to be called the Safekeeper, and the second one is going to be called the Revival. Now, the Safekeeper allows for another safe pocket, but also can work and be compatible with light, medium, and heavy shields, so that's pretty interesting. And the Revival itself now, this is only compatible with the light shields, but restores 1 health for every 5 seconds when you take damage, and the effect is paused for 30 seconds, so it's something that we've seen previously in the game, but, hey, maybe this changes up a little bit more for you and you are interested in that one, but I'd probably lean more towards the Safekeeper. And then there are a ton of updates, and I'm not going to cover them all, and a lot of fixes, so if you want to see those, go look at the full patch notes, but I definitely want to go and cover the new changes to the arc enemies, as well as the maps, but let's start off with the maps. Okay, so starting off with the maps, now this one is going to be affecting loot in general on, those different events like Electric Storm, Hidden Bunker, and Locked Gate. Specific blueprints that could easily be found in kind of like the same bins and baskets and crates like that, that's being changed up so you don't always run to the same spot expecting the same type of loot drops. That's an interesting change, should allow people to, explore a little bit more and not memorize the exact looting patterns, so I'm very interested in that. And then the chances have been raised for finding higher tier weapons in weapon cases, that's right. If you're going on weapon case runs, Getting a good weapon out of it, like a Tarente or better, was a little bit challenging. Most of the time, you'd get like a Berletta, which is okay, but you want some better gear when you are finding those weapon cases, and it has now been buffed, so very excited. But they've slightly lowered finding Matriarch and Queen unique parts off of their armor pieces, so if you are just trying to get into a fight, take out a quick leg, and then run out there, you're going to have a lower chance of getting the loot. So you're actually going to have to go out and take out the Queen, take out the Matriarch, and loot its core, and get all the different bits to get the higher chances for those Matriarch reactors and Queen cores. And then they've also fixed multiple containers across all the maps that were not interactable. I haven't really experienced that myself, but this is also another small one. They fixed the Raider Hatch timer bug and camera getting stuck when trying to interact. So overall, some nice updates to the map, but let me know what you think about those changes to the looting. Then for the Arc updates, well, the traversing of the Arc has been improved. The Leaper is now better at walking when you're breaking its legs, so no longer is this thing going to be falling all over itself. It's going to be a little bit, better at staying up and staying in the fight. The Shredders now can be properly looted when they're pinged on the dead Shredders. For the Snitch, it fixed an issue where Snitches would abort calling in the Arc if you threw a lure grenade during that call. And Snitches will no longer make noise after they are destroyed, so no late call-ins to the enemies to, spawn more Arc. The Spotters have now had an issue fixed where they would get stuck inside of buildings. I know, let's say if you're inside of a building with an open wall, the Spotter would try to sneak in there and it would get stuck, and it was, causing some issues. So that is gone. Then this is probably the best one. This is regarding the tick. Those tiny little spiders that jump on your face. You are now going to get like a fraction of a second to do a dodge roll to remove them. So, less chances of you getting ganked and killed while this thing is on you. So I think that's a positive change. All right, Raiders, that's all I have for you today. Be sure to get out there, try out the Headwinds update, tell me how you like it, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.